Grand Raw Rising, kings and queens. Grab your coffee or your tea and enjoy some sacred healing space for all ages and reflections that are welcomed. No matter if you're at work, watching the kiddos at home, or even driving on the road, Rising with Ra is a beautiful sacred space to learn about the chakras as well as receive our collective card reading for the day. Along with this, we will have beautiful guests and members of the tribe come on to share their gifts, their practices, knowledge, and wisdom as we self-empower and become aware of who we are as we go forth by day.
Walking like an Egyptian, walking like an Egyptian, walking like an Egyptian, walking like an Egyptian.
A rebel who went searching for treasures in his soul, fishing for gold. I found a key to unlock the door to my mind's gate, hidden with some hieroglyphs. Told me about my future and my past, and that I should get till I work it and get up off my ass. I'm on the path to move the masses to spiritual tactics. So masters, you bastards, spread it through classes. Live your life.
Hey, grand day everybody. It is Marcus Christolight, and I'm happy to be back for Season 4 of Rising with Ra. On this episode, to kick off Season 4 of Rising with Ra, I, Christolight, guide us through our collective card reading for the day, and I use the Magical Dimensions Oracle deck and do a single card pull. Along with this, I tied the card reading into our chakra of the day for this episode of Rising with Ra, which is the Root Chakra. I go over the characteristics of this energy center, as well as how to identify blocks or overactivations in the Root Chakra. Then we go into some positive ways to balance and activate the root. And then we transition into being joined by our first royal guest of the season. And our first royal guest being Yuuga, the Draconic High Priest, also known as Hytherian on Instagram. Yuuga joins us to facilitate and lead a Qi Gong energy movement session, as well as touch on the importance surrounding Kundalini Activations. Enjoy the episode. Feel free to leave your feedback or anything that you'd like to reflect upon or that you got downloaded during this video. If you are someone that would like to be a guest on Rising with Ra, you may direct message me, Marcus Christolight, to set up an episode. I'll share. grand day. Palo Santo. Palo Santo is a beautiful holy wood, as we call it. It carries beautiful properties metaphysically, such as cleansing space of energy that is stagnant, quote-unquote negative energy, as well as a protective energy as well. Just like sage, you can smudge Palo Santo. You can use it in oils, sprays, as well as candles and incense. And welcome everybody. Welcome to the season 4 kickoff of Rising with Ra. And I'm your host of the sacred space, Marcus, aka Christolight. And we have our first sacred royal guest of the Rising with Ra space this season for season 4. And we will be joined here in a little bit by a dragonborn brother who is connected with dragon energy. And he goes by Yuuga, the dragonic high priest. And he also goes by Hyperion here on Instagram Live. He will be joining us to lead and facilitate a Qi Gong activation. So if you're someone that has either practiced Qi Gong before, or you have been interested in any healing practices or energy movement practices, you will be able to join us live here on Instagram or later on the replay on YouTube, Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. You'll be able to join us as Yuuga will facilitate and lead a Qi Gong session a little bit later on today. So go ahead and get comfortable, grab your tea, grab your coffee, whatever it is that you enjoy during these risings, or if you're in the middle of your day on the other side of the world, just get comfortable and enjoy this space. This sacred space is open for the sacred conscious community, and I will begin this Rising with Ra with doing a collective card reading, where I'll just pull a single card for the day, give us a overall energy update, as well as what type of supportive energy would like to be present. And then after that, I will briefly touch on the root chakra. I will talk about the characteristics of the root chakra, as well as how it manifests into our life as a blocked root chakra, and some simple ways that you can balance and activate the root chakra. And then after I go over the root chakra, we will then transition into our Qi Gong session with our royal guest, Yuuga. So to kick us off in this new fresh season of Rising with Ra, I will be pulling from the Magical Dimensions deck. This deck, if you haven't seen it yet, I really resonate with this one. It has about 4 different types of cards, and it has angelic cards, elemental, Fey, and galactic. So these are all assorted throughout this deck, and there's also chakra cards too. And it's called Magical Dimensions for anybody out there. So typically what I do is I pull a single card for a general message for the collective. Oh wow, look at that. You know, it's funny how things happen, but the card that flew onto the ground in our card for today is the Root Chakra. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make this stuff up. Here we are already, the first 15 minutes of Season 4 of Rising with Ra, and we have this divine synchronicity coming through. The card that flew out of my hands onto the floor for our collective reading today is the Root Chakra. Yeah. It's amazing what happens the more clear and aligned we are. It just becomes seamless. So the Root Chakra, it's also number 33. I'm sure some of us have a significant connection to the number 33. I myself, I'm a life path 33, so 33 is a very big reflective number for me. So the Root Chakra, on this card, it says it represents vitality, stability, survival, and fearful energy. And I'll just go ahead and start touching on the Root Chakra, since this is part of our collective reading. And just to briefly go into the Root Chakra and the characteristics of what the Root Chakra is. To begin, a chakra. Chakra is Sanskrit. It's an ancient Indian term that represents wheel of light, or energy wheel. And chakras are energy points throughout our being that basically encompass our energetic body, or our etheric body. Our energetic body, or our etheric body, is like the roadway, the mapping, the blueprints, the matrix system for our physical being to be able to be existent and to be able to be active in the living. Without our energetic blueprint, without our energetic body, we wouldn't know how to function in the physical realm. The energetic body is what's binding or connecting our DNA to our higher light self as a light being. This is why if you watch videos or like deep documentaries or esoteric studies about the self, DNA is basically the bridge to our memories, our light codes, our programmings. And they actually have gotten even more scientific about all this when it comes to DNA, including talking about junk DNA and how the junk DNA is actually very intelligent DNA that has been dormant within our being, that connects us to our extraterrestrial life, connects us to our galactic origins, as well as much other very high capabilities that we have as multidimensional light beings. Back to the Root Chakra. So the Root Chakra well, before I get into it, so the major chakras are formed from the interweaving of our masculine and feminine energies from the base of our body. So at the base of our body is stored our Kundalini, or our life force energy. When we awaken it and we start to rise our life force energy from the base, it separates or splits into two masculine and feminine energies, or the Ida and the Pingala, and then they intertwine and interweave, rising up the spinal column. Where they come together and meet at the weaving is where the major energy center is formed, which is where you get the major chakras. We also have hundreds and thousands of chakras around our body that are minor chakras, as we call it. And those are ones that are like on our wrist, our palms, our elbows, our shoulders, our hips, our nose, our mouth, at the jaw, the ears, the soles of the feet. Those are all minor chakras, which is why they're extremely sensitive. And that's why you can feel electrical energy as well as magnetism from these areas. So really, our being is nothing but a bunch of portals of light, frequency, and energy. So now the root chakra. The root chakra is the base for your physical life. It's not the base for your whole entire being, because your being goes beyond the physical. Your being has many layers. It has a emotional body, a mental body, physical body, astral body, and beyond. The root chakra is the base or the foundation for your physical or human life. Now, within this base energy center, it is going to carry their characteristics that manifest into your life as inner peace, stability, groundedness, being connected to infinite, abundant energy. It's also going to be connected to your finances and career path. And it's also going to be connected to your survival, your fight or flight. So if you find yourself constantly being triggered into fight or flight mode, that is a sign of having an imbalanced root chakra. So along with that, the root chakra also carries the energies from fear that we hold on to, as well as resentment, frustration, anger, and pain. These are all energetic characteristics that we take on and accumulate in our root chakra the more that we do not cleanse, balance, and activate the root chakra. The more the root chakra is activated and balanced, the more open our base foundation for our being is going to be. As in, the easier the rest of our energy throughout our being will be able to flow down into our base and ground into our being, ground into our physical human life. The more that we can ground our higher light, the energies from the crown, the third eye, and above, the heart, all these other energies, the more that we can ground them into the root chakra and into the earth, the more it integrates and blends into our physical life, the more it integrates into our physical being. And then these light codes and this higher light becomes more present in our physical being and in our consciousness, in the way that we're acting. So, a couple ways that you can balance the root chakra, you can utilize different yoga postures and yoga techniques. You can simply just go onto Google and type in root chakra yoga poses, and you'll have a ton come up for you. You can also do guided meditations, of course. You can do affirmations. You can do mudras. Mudras are the hand postures, as well as mantras. There's a mantra for each of the 7 chakras. And the root chakra, the mantra is VAM, V-A-M. So to do a mantra, what you would do is take a deep breath in, and then you push out with your throat. So deep breath in, just like that. And one of the keys is when you're pushing out, you want to push out halfway with your mouth open, and then the other half with your mouth closed. So that's a little bit about the root chakra. And this practice that we are about to embark upon here today on Rising with Ra, with our wonderful royal guest to kick off season 4, Yuuga, Hytherian, will be demonstrating a wonderful practice, Qi Gong, that is very much compatible with activating and balancing the root chakra today. And here in just a couple of minutes, I will go ahead and introduce our royal guest here for this Rising with Ra edition of the season return. And if you guys have any questions at all throughout this live, feel free to drop them down below in that little question mark bubble by the comments, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability for you. If you have any questions about the root chakra, feel free to drop them down below. And lastly, there's crystals. There's many crystals that are very beautiful for the root chakra. And a lot of them are typically the black stones, such as black tourmaline or hematite, onyx, also carnelian. Quartz is of course good for any chakra. Smoky quartz is pretty good as well. And there are some more out there. You can always research for yourself. But those are some crystals that you can utilize for the root chakra. So that's our collective card for today, is the root chakra. And also, if you're curious on going deeper with individual chakras and you'd like to be in a one-on-one space with myself, I do offer crystal healing sessions as well as chakra balance or chakra empowerment sessions as well. And in my chakra empowerment sessions, they are one-on-one sessions where you get to pick a chakra of your choice, and I fully in-depth educate you on what that chakra is, as well as how to identify blockages or overactivations in that chakra. And then I give you practices and strategies that you can utilize in your everyday life to maintain and balance that chakra of your choice. And then I wrap it up with a chakra balance meditation with affirmations. So that is something that you guys can reach out to me for. Just direct message me, and you get to choose the chakra of your choice. And if you have any questions regarding the pricing or setting up your service, just direct message. And also, I'm going to go ahead and put it down below, my Cashapp and PayPal for anybody that would like to donate. The donations that are sent for this episode will be split in half between myself and our royal guest, Hytherian. All right. So, last message that I'm hearing to kind of relay as a reminder for us here today on Rising with Ra with the root chakra is the importance of grounding. Why can it be important to ground ourselves? And ground ourselves daily. And before I go on with this, if you have any reason or experience on why it could be important to balance and maintain the root chakra and ground ourselves daily, feel free to put it in the comments. I'd love to hear your reasoning on why you believe grounding is important. So, grounding and its importance for me and my experiences to reflect out to you. Well, number one, the more grounded we are, the more we are able to have a foundation. A foundation to be able to change, to be able to go through transcendence and transformation with supportive energy. The more we establish our energetic foundation within our own being, the more we are able to branch out networks energetically of magnetizing support naturally, organically, without effort, because the effort is keeping your electromagnetic system functioning properly. The more grounded we are, the more we are able to climb the ladder, the more we are able to ascend. As above, so below. The deeper we can go into the ground, into the roots, the higher we are able to blossom and spread out our branches. Along with this, if we are not maintaining our groundedness daily, this can cause scattered energy. It can cause bipolar-like energy and mental states. It can also keep us mentally wandering in between dimensions and not having a solid harmony, balance, centeredness to our whole being, the mind, emotions, the body, and the spirit all together. Groundiness can also contribute to deeper inner peace. Deeper feelings of being loved as well as being supported. And along with that, it also helps us with not reacting so much out of our emotion, or not reacting so much out of cognitive distortional mindsets. So those are a few of the reasons why I like to ground and maintain my root chakra daily. So now that will do it for our collective reading and our root chakra education for the day. Now we're going to go ahead and transition. We're going to go ahead and bring on our first royal guest of season 4 on Rising with Ra, and that is Hytherian. He also goes by Yuuga, and he's going to be leading us in a wonderful sacred Qi. And thank you to everybody that is here. Thank you all that have commented and shared, and thank you all for receiving. Grand Rising, brother, how are you?
I'm doing well. Let me move my camera a little bit.
Good to see you.
Are you guys able to see my feet?
Nope, just the top half.
Change this a little bit.
So, just for everybody out there, our brother Yuuga, or Hytherian, he is based out of Arizona. He has been thoroughly studying and developing a at-home advanced shungite water system. And as well as that, Yuuga also does sell crystals. So if you're someone that likes the crystal healing and likes, rare exotic crystals, that is something that he takes a lot of passion in. And how long have you been practicing Qi Gong for?
The better half of a decade now. The movement and getting in touch with the body's flow of energy has always been vital to my spiritual practice. And in the Dragon's Path, I call it dancing with dragons. And doing magic and ceremony work and just any type of energy work with the dragons, I always feel called to do movement with my body, and it ends up becoming a fluid dance. So it's always been incorporated into my path. I really wanted to be able to flow with my Qi and do things with my Qi that you only hear in legends and stories. I've done a few incredible things in my lifetime so far, and it's just been a progressive path of just expansion and growth.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you for being on that path, and thank you for being you and wanting to share yourself and share your light here with us in this space on Rising with Ra. And welcome in, everybody. Just so everybody knows, especially those that are just hopping in, we're about to begin a facilitated Qi Gong energy session. So if you would like to participate with live facilitation of Qi Gong, our brother Yuuga out of Arizona is going to be facilitating and leading this Qi Gong session. So for all of you that just hopped in, go ahead and give you like a minute or two if you would like to create some space. And we'll be standing for this practice, right?
Yeah, so I'll just sit down so we had a good camera view of my face, but I'll be right here. It's not going to be anything too crazy and too fluid and with movement. It's really just going to be about focusing the body, centering your mind and body-heart connection, and learning to feel that grounding sensation within you. So it's just going to be very basic entry-level practices. Most people may be familiar with some of these techniques, There'll be a few things that I'll share that aren't too well known. And when we begin, we'll begin.
It's exciting. Thank you again.
Yeah. But before we begin, I wanted to mention, because I was listening intently with what you were saying about grounding. One of the most important things I would do for grounding with myself, if I ever felt lost or disconnected with myself or my reality, one thing I would do to help me ground is just look at my hands, look at my feet, and remember right here and right here, what I see is everything that I have control over, especially when it comes to looking at your hands and feet and just remembering that you have that control. And I always ask myself, is this moment, is this the spot I am supposed to be in? And there's only been one time in my life where I felt I was not in the right space or time. But for the most part, I've always been able to say, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. And just having that simple guiding reminder, it always brought me comfort. And I wanted to share that with you guys. And I'll actually be working with this shungite stone. It's part of my aunt's collection. And it's just a little quick tip to help grounding with the shungite is just holding it, feeling your hand's energy over it, and then your hand will hold the shungite's energy, and you could condense it and place it into your chakra as needed.
Mm.
And I was doing that as you were talking about the card, and I thought it was really cool how we got the Root Chakra card.
Yeah, I've never had something like that happen.
It just flew up, and there it was. That was amazing.
Like, wow. Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we will go ahead and begin. So we're going to first stand with our feet directly touching, not shoulder width apart, just our feet are connected. We're going to rub our hands, lift them up, breathe in the nose, breathe out the mouth, breathing in again, and breathing out the mouth. And just one more time for good measure. In the nose, and out the mouth. Dropping our hands to our side, spreading our feet shoulder width apart. Next, we will begin by knocking on the seat of life. This is arguably one of the most important practices of Qi Gong, and how most people would start their Qi Gong exercise. And it's pretty simple. All you're going to do is take your arms, swing them back and forth. And while doing that, you're going to maintain and make sure the back side of your palm connects to the base of your spine. So it's very important that that energy connection happens with the base of your spine. That tapping sensation and that flow helps activate and stimulate the Qi throughout the body. So we'll go ahead and do that for about 10 times or 15 times to help balance it out between the sides. And we'll go from there. Over with her, and I'll begin. With this one, you don't have to focus too much on your breath, more of just being aware that you're breathing and touching the energy centers of your body. And we'll slightly transition this, and we're going to take the hand that's not swinging to the back, and we're going to bring it up to our shoulder while still hitting the base of our spine. And then we're going to reach over our shoulder and hit the back of our lungs. Shake it out. This next Qigong exercise is, I can't remember the exact one, but it has to do with the animals, and this is going to be tiger. So we're going to get our hands, make a tiger claw, and we're going to, if you can growl, do the growl. Otherwise, just breathe out and make an audible. But we're going to go like and scratch our way down. And as we're scratching down, we're going to climb or claw back up, and it'll look like this. And you'll be feet shoulder width apart. I felt that one. So that one really helps stimulate the lungs if you can do the growl. But with the tiger, it's all about the fluidity and the ferocity of the tiger with Tiger Qi Gong. Feeling the tiger's connection, it's important to remember the tiger carries a very primal protective energy. It's like the king of the jungle. I know the lion gets called the king of the jungle, but it's really the tiger because they live in the jungle. So with that being said, the next one is going to be the tiger leaping into the forest. I'll show it to you sideways. So you're going to take both hands like so. It's going to be hard to show. All right, so this leg, you're going to be facing your foot right here. This leg, the foot's going to be facing this way. So you're going to have a perpendicular angle. And so make sure your soles are square. And we're going to go like this. Just leaping forward, breathing in, pulling it in and down and around. So it'll look like this. Breathing in, breathing out. We'll do this one 10 times on this side. So whenever I do that one, I intensely feel all the energy being pushed through my palms, as if I'm pushing away all my worries and fears, and which is a good strong connection for the root chakra. And with the tiger leaping into the forest, you're leaping into new opportunities, creating new pathways for yourself. So that's why I really love this one. Now we'll do this side. Out, in, out, in. Okay. That one got my heart pumping a little bit. Felt that squatting. So we're gonna slow it down just a little bit. Let me catch my breath. And we're gonna make a Qi ball. And this is gonna be a new technique that I have created myself. And with this, most people start their Qi ball and build and expand from there. We're just gonna put our hands like so, rub them, just slightly separate. And this is where it's a little tricky. So I'm gonna take my right hand, pull it in, and we're gonna breathe in. When I push it out, we're gonna breathe out. We're gonna do that 2 times. So it'll look like this. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Keeping your hands slightly separated. Separate the left, pull away the right, and you should be able to instantly feel that Qi ball. Just feeling that, being aware of the sensation. We're going to imagine this Qi ball being filled with the red color, the red light. Filling it with our strength, our vitality, and our life force. Putting all our hopes, dreams, and desires into this, and remembering we're going to ground this and anchor it into earth, into ourselves, and through our breath. So I'm going to go ahead and harness the energy and push it down. And just holding it there for a second, letting the body absorb it. I'll go ahead and take a few steps back. Okay. Now we're going to go shoulder width apart, and we're going to be rotating our hips, gyrating in a circular motion. So we're going to circle right to left, moving our hip flexor, keeping our legs as firm as possible, really working the root chakra. It stimulates the groin, helps the blood flow, and it's just overall good for your mobility. I'm not Shakira. My hips do bang. All right, now circle to the left. Oh yeah, I thought that. Way in my glutes. All right, now shoulder width apart with your feet, and we're just gonna do. I can't remember what this is called, but it's one of the most basic Qigong exercises. Again, this one's very important for the fundamentals of your Qigong practice. All you're gonna do is take your hands, breathe in, and then push them down and breathe out. And we'll go ahead and do that 10 times. Beginning now. In the nose, out the mouth. And one more time. make sure what time it is. Okay, we're at 9:04. So we've got about one more good exercise, and then I'll kind of feel how we're going from there. But this next one, I have to be on my knees for a little bit. So we're going to take our hands, interlock them, and keep them down here. And we're going to rotate them and pull our hands up, and we're going to breathe in. And we're going to hold our breath for a few seconds when our hands reach up here. So it's going to look like this.
Okay.
And it's going to help expand your lungs. You're going to hold, and then you're going to release that interlocked fingers and bring it back down. And just repeat that a few times. With this one, it's better to go slower to help increase your lungs capacity. I unfortunately am a smoker, so I'm not going to be that slow. The very first time I did this, I coughed pretty hard. This shows that I need to do this one a lot more often. One more time. And release. Now this last exercise, I won't be able to do too much because of where I'm at, and it's on the second level. So I'm going to be stomping my feet on the ground. I'll move the camera up real quickly. And that's not going to work. But okay, so I'll do it with my hands. You're going to take your feet, this is your foot, and this is the ground. And you're just going to stand on your toes and slam your heels down on the ground. And the point of this is to stimulate the bones and to store Qi into the body more effectively. That stomping sensation, as Marcus is doing, it really helps the body vibrate. And when you get that vibration coursing through your body, we're all liquid crystalline matrices. So having that pressure, it creates a charge within us. The muscles, our bones, they have a piezoelectric effect. So putting that into perspective, it just works. So try it out for yourself. It's one of my favorites to do. It's great for your calves. And we'll go ahead and go from there. Here we go. Almost like you're jumping. I'm not doing it too hard just because I said I'm on the second floor. And want to keep your limbs loose, your arms free, let them dangle, and really feel that vibration hit your bones. Okay. And with that, let's see what time it is. 9:10. Okay, I think that's a good Qi Gong session. We'll go ahead and close the session by centering ourselves, remembering we're grounding and anchoring ourselves into reality, feeling the harmonious connection between our body and our breath, remembering we are all children of Gaia. In this moment, realize your fear and embrace it. Do not become it, overcome it. The power of the root is where the serpent and the Kundalini lies. It's coiled, and for you to uncoil it, you must control your root. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Namaste. And that was a beautiful practice. Thank you so much for coming on and facilitating with us all here on Rising with Ra.
Absolutely. I love being a part of it.
Yeah, that was wonderful for me. Definitely just solidified my centered and groundedness for this rising even more. And it's just really nice to utilize practices that deepen our awareness of being present with our energy field. There's so much that we can move and shift energetically that we may not even just realize that's always available to us.
That's the one thing I love about Qi Gong. It was made with the intention of being accessible to everyone. It was made by the common people for the common people. It's really just about having a fluid connection with yourself, maintaining your mobility, and having a present awareness of your Qi. That's why Qi Gong has always been my go-to.
Yeah. Let's see. And how was everybody's experience that's in the live chat? How was your experience with the Qi Gong? Definitely love to hear feedback. Any noticeable highlights that anybody had? And then we actually have a couple questions I see. So a couple questions from Sarah Broadhead. And the first question is, I asked this because I'm in the Phoenix metro area. I would like to connect with local peeps. Let's see. So she asked, I'd like to find out if Hyperion would like to meet in person or if he has services he offers. So that's from Sarah Broadhead.
Yeah.
She lives in Arizona.
Okay, definitely contact me directly. I saw that you follow me. Thank you. Be sure to follow back. The services that I have available right now, I would like to get out more into the public, is my Kundalini activation session, which I've had with Marcus yesterday. Do you want to share about that experience?
Yeah, actually, I'd love to. So we had a Kundalini activation session yesterday, and this was a one-on-one private session. And after I go through this a little bit, I definitely like to touch on the importance of maintaining and understanding the Kundalini energy. But back to yesterday. So we went into this session, and it was really nice I really liked the way that you went into it, as in, you asked me some general questions about my health and my everyday living, kind of where I was at on the mind, body, emotional level, to really tap in and check and see, where you can really help navigate and shift my energy through this activation. And thank you for that. Thank you for that type of mindfulness going into the session. Sometimes, we go into these sessions and the facilitator doesn't even try to tap into our connection. They don't really try to align with our heart and where our being is and what our being truly needs. And I find it very beneficial when the facilitator takes that time to really tune in with the client or with the person on the other side. So thank you for that. And I just kind of went through a little scan of the self. And then we went into a really nice mixture, a really nice balance, and it was authentic as well to Hyperion. It was a mixture between some Qi Gong movements and the breath, along with conscious focusedness of where you're focusing the consciousness to help activate the Kundalini. And it was a very beautiful integration between myself myself and him as a facilitator to be able to work with and flow the Kundalini energy. And I would say within just a few minutes of the movement and practice, I was able to have my Kundalini energy or my life force energy cleanse through any blockages that were in my chakras, which is mainly the solar plexus and the throat. And just within minutes, about 5 minutes, it cleared away those debris and those blocks. And I had a nice uplifting sort of electrical inner activation of Kundalini energy, and brought a very solid balance and centeredness as well as sharpness to my being. So I definitely recommend the Kundalini activation through our brother Yuuga here, as I know from my own self, from my own experience yesterday, that it's a very valid practice and it's very potent. As much as you're open and as much as you allow yourself to receive, you'll have beautiful results. At least I did in my experience.
Thank you for sharing your experience. What I did want to expand upon on that is, like he said, Marcus said, it's a very one-on-one, intuitively based practice. It's not Kundalini yoga. I don't know Kundalini yoga, and I'm not going to claim something that it's not. But I do know that it is connected with the Kundalini. I've been working with the Kundalini for about a decade now. I've had many experiences. I've had the best and the worst of both worlds when it comes to Kundalini. And so the reason why I want to offer this service to people is so that they can have the tools and awareness of what's happening internally, so they don't have the same flaws and errors that I've made. And there are dangerous aspects about Kundalini. They can really permanently damage your system. It can cause imbalances within your brain. I do have physical side effects to this day from my first Kundalini activation. I wouldn't say they're bad or painful, but I do have physical side effects. And it's just the testament to how real and raw the Kundalini power really is. So this is, like I said, a service I want to provide more for the community, one-on-one. Typically, it's about 20 to 30 minutes, just depending on you and your flow. But I'm going to be working on a donation-based price for that, but that's definitely something I want to have available for people.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. And I'm glad you brought that up. It definitely is important to really be aware and understand what the Kundalini energy is, and really like the importance of maintaining it as well as balancing it, and what it can look like if it's overactivated or underactivated. It's very life-changing stuff, very life-changing, especially if we just go into it without any awareness or any preparation, then we can kind of lose sight of ourselves and lose sight of our being. And in essence, you can almost get kind of like, it's almost like you get kind of like flipped into your own self, or you get sucked into yourself. And then like next thing you know, you're just very much in the midst of very high impulsive energy, very scattered energy, as well as very unguarded and unprotected energy. And it leaves you very, very vulnerable and very susceptible to many different energies and vibrations.
That's why grounding is considered one of the most important practices in magic, at least. It's really important to have that ground, or that grounding, not only just to have it yourself centered and be aware, because a lot of people, and myself included, when I first started my spiritual awakening, I wanted to get my vibration as high as possible. And without having that grounding sensation to help ease everything in, everything's just going to get caught up in the air and you're just going to get lightheaded. So grounding really is important for many, many valid reasons. But I would say the most important is just having a good sense of self and being able to ground the spiritual into the physical, which is ultimately the goal of everyone on the spiritual practice. I don't really know of anyone that wants only the spiritual. They want to have the spiritual integrated with the physical. And it's just, that's the key, being able to ground.
Well said. Very well said. Thank you for that reminder as well. And how's your water system going?
It's going great. I was just doing some tests with water from Sedona, of all places. So that was really cool. The water has been going great. I've had my mom on it. I have my aunt on it. They love my water. They really don't like being on anything else. They say they feel more hydrated and they have to drink less when on the shungite water. I did just post an update on my YouTube channel. I did a video regarding my 3.5-year detox journey with shungite water. Because when I first made it and I had the system originally built, I did a detox series because of my goal, I should say, was to only drink shungite water as my source of liquid and water intake, just to see what type of effects I would have on my body. And the first few things I noticed was I got a little sick the first month, but then my cerebral spinal fluid, my Kundalini, my intimate connection with myself, it all just became enhanced. And I lost the ability to have that shungite water consistently because of my home situation, housing situation. But once I got back into my own apartment and was able to build my system again, I've been on it for 3.5 years now, and I feel like it's cycled out after all this time a lot of stuff, and it's really helped me clear myself, helped me focus, and on a metaphysical and on a literal sense, I am shungite water. This little stone, like, it's not literally in me, but the effects of shungite are a part of me. I've had that much water in my body. Like, I'm a different person. I feel like I'm a different person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say from my own experiences, because, I've been on shungite water for, I would say, roughly about 4 to 5 years now. And it's been life-changing for me. It's definitely, I mean, it's shifted my life in more ways than I can even think. Because, when it comes to these crystals and these different stones, we tend to think that, just this physical part of it is what it is. But these crystals and gemstones are actually consciousness as well. And these right here are their vehicles. These are the bodies that they are utilizing to share and spread their codes and their messages and light. And man, when you integrate shungite water or shungite into water, it really elevates the living and consciousness that is patterning and exuding from the water with this crystal and spirit being added to it. And it's by far been the most beneficial water I've come across. Because, you can find reverse osmosis, and yeah, reverse osmosis is the water and stuff like that, but you're not going to be getting the minerals and the benefits that shungite give you. It's anti-inflammation.
Yep.
It helps with your bones, your tissue, your muscle, your joints. You have arthritis, Alzheimer's. It helps with all these things. And on top of that, you're getting real minerals, real live minerals from the stones that benefit the being. It is some powerful stuff. And what's your YouTube channel for everybody out there?
I'll type it in. It's Voice of the Dragons, my other alter ego.
And on your YouTube channel, you have videos on there of how to set up a shungite water system, right?
Yeah. So I have DIY instructions on how to make your own shungite system. If you do go the route of choosing to do so, I do not recommend it just because it's very extensive and takes a lot to make. But it's mostly just the associated health risks that are there with shungite. I'll show you real quick. Like, you can't just use any piece of shungite. If you look at this one right here, that little gold flake right there, that's pyrite, and you can see more pyrite right there. If you drop that into your water, you're going to get iron oxide poisoning, at least. So it's really important to make sure you're doing a quality control with every stone that you're working with when it comes to shungite water. But that's honestly why I want to sell the shungite device. I want to sell the shungite filtration system for people and just do the heavy lifting and make it so they can have a couple gallons at hand whenever they need it. Like I said, I've been working with this stuff for quite a while, and I know the do's and don'ts, and there's a lot you shouldn't do. But I've made a really good structured protocol on what to follow and what to do. So anyone that wants the help and guidance, I'm there for them. But they can also check out the YouTube channel and go from there.
Wonderful. And that's a YouTube channel, Voice of the Dragons, for everybody again. If you guys want to follow and subscribe to our brother Yuuga's YouTube channel. And last thing I also wanted to touch on is your crystal journey. I see that you sell your crystals, and you also create crystal bracelets and jewelry, right?
Yes. So one thing I'll just promote really quick is my radionics bracelet. It uses the shungite, magnets, and copper, and then the select stones of your choice. But it's really just the black part that's important. I call them radionics bracelets, and they utilize the effects of shungite's conductivity. So when you put shungite with any form of magnetism, it creates an electromagnetic field, aka radionics. And I've actually helped people with carpal tunnel and some other pain syndromes in their wrists with these bracelets, and that's why I love these bracelets. But I do make crystal gemstone jewelry. I make right now bracelets. I do want to do necklaces, but those are more on request because of how expensive it is to make on my end. I do have a list of ascension stones that I'm working on and releasing to the public. If you are familiar with the Book of Stones, there's the man Robert Simmons, and he created a list of what he calls the 12 synergy stones. The 12 synergy stones are the stones he considers the best for spiritual growth and development. And I don't disagree with that. I just feel there's more to that list than what he's listed. So that's why I'm working on a compilation of ascension stones, and I'll be making a series on different stones, starting with Dambarite, one of my favorites, and just sharing everything I know about how these crystals work and what they can do for you. Because crystals have been the most integrated part of my journey. After I had my first awakening, I remember offhand in a conversation I had months prior that they were telling me that amethyst had healing powers. And I didn't disregard it, but I didn't fully believe it at the time. But I looked into it, and I got myself a selenite egg, and I started meditating with it and started having experiences I couldn't fully explain. And one thing led to another, and this is how I got into it.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Yeah, crystals they've been one of my favorite things to connect with in this lifetime. I found out that I was to be like a messenger of the crystals, a crystal medium, so to say. Back when I was on a walk, I was just taking a walk through a park, and I was out there with my oracle cards, and I was sitting by a waterfall, and I pulled out the cards, and I just pulled some cards, like general message for me in that moment. And the card crystals came up, and it was an instant remembrance that I have this super deep connection with crystals, and that I'm basically like a, a medium for them, for the human, from the human to the crystal, or to the crystal to the animal, whatever it may be. And um, yeah, after that, I went and got my CHH crystal healing certified, and ever since, man, crystals have this. They have done extraordinary things that I can't even really put words to, and they are beautiful companions to have in this human lifetime. I tell you that.
Yeah. Like,
So
a lot of people ask me, like, why are you spending all this money on dumb rock? I'm like, well, it's not a dumb rock, but I was just thinking about it the other day. I spent a lot of money on this really rare mineral called Carolite from the Congo. Very hard to find, very hard to obtain, very expensive. And just the fact that I get to look at it whenever I want, that makes it worth it.
yeah,
Honestly, I'm tearing up just from thinking about that.
we'll definitely just keep an eye out, everybody. We'll hold some sessions, talk about crystals and crystal healing in the future. Definitely, whether it's on my podcast or coming up on the new season of the process of clearing layers this winter. We may be diving into a little bit of crystal healing with our brother here.
Yeah. I did mention it I think right before the Qi Gong session, but our bodies are liquid crystalline matrices. We carry all the same fundamental aspects or fundamental compositions of real crystals and minerals in the world. Like, we are stardust. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
And when you understand how to integrate that information into your journey, it really helped me with DNA activation, and that's why I love crystals, is they really do help with DNA activation and just obtaining that spiritual growth that you really desire. And one thing I wanted to share really quickly, last night I went to a show, and I saw a buddy from high school, and we had a mutual friend that ended up passing away from an unfortunate incident. And after he passed away, I had a very intense moment with a stone called golden azestolite. And it was just a polished wand, kind of like a massage. It had a pointed end with a rounded bottom, so you could kind of massage on it. And I was just holding it and meditating. And I felt a connection with my friend that had passed. And in that moment, I could feel the crystal, and not just like on a physical sense, but there was something more to it than just what I was able to perceive. And the crystal, like, I literally heard this in my head. And like, normally with telepathic conversation, I get a general impression of what is being said. I don't hear anything. But with this, it was crystal clear in my head. No pun intended, but it's very intended. The crystal said, I can look, I can see, I can hear. I become what's around that is clear. And
Wow.
that just made all the sense to me.
That, oh, wow. That's so beautiful.
That's like one of the pure crystal wisdoms I've received in this lifetime.
Oh, yeah, man. Crystals will speak to us if we are open and we listen. They will definitely speak to us. Wow.
I have an idea, if I could voice it. You ever work with crystal skulls?
Me personally, not necessarily. It's not really something that's kind of just like came up for me to do. Certainly open to it, and I'm sure many others in the comments or that will be tapping in are open to it as well.
So crystal skulls, it's like a subset of crystal healing. And I'll just say this really briefly. Crystal skulls, compared to their regular crystal counterparts, they have a lot more personality. There's a lot more activity that goes on in there on the crystal skull. And I was just doing a crystal grid the other day, and I was doing some spell work. And after I finished my crystal grid, I realized I had made a crystal skull with my crystal grid. It was not even intentional, and I got the call to actually do some work with the crystal skulls again. I'll just share this really briefly too. Sorry. I actually got to meet one of the ancient crystal skulls, the fifth one, Sammy, the Mitchell Hedges skull, in person, and I got to take some of my crystal skulls, and one of them was from the lady in Arizona that has the third crystal skull, and I took those and I got to have them connect with the fifth crystal skull, and I got to go to a healing ceremony. I got to see the actual ancient crystal skull that's older than most of human history, and
Wow.
after that, that's when I found the shungite water and was able to create radionics or magnaviolet clear. It was like right after that encounter.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So instead of it summoning like, you know, the great Dragon Ball dragon, it summoned your connection to shungite.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. It's amazing how it's amazing how one thing leads to the other. And really just like the simplicity of how it's all connected and how every cause has an effect, not every effect has a cause. And we just never truly know what's going to be in store for us next. You know, as much as we're in a moment and it could seem like it's for something or it could be going a certain direction, but then just next thing you know, like all of a sudden you're connected to this newfound passion. Like that's how opportunistic life is in every moment. Is that we have like all these like hidden blessings in disguise, and then this next thing you know, it's gonna reveal that we're to embark upon this beautiful journey. It's amazing. But yeah, I guess I'll do it for today here on Rising with Ra. Really beautiful session, brother. Thank you for coming
Yes.
on.
This felt amazing.
Thank you for facilitating the Qi Gong. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your knowledge. And yeah, anybody out there that would like to get in contact with our brother Yuuga, go ahead again. Let everybody know where they can find you and where they can contact you for any of your services.
So if you're on Instagram seeing this and you want to connect to my other socials, I have a link tree set up in my bio. If you're seeing this on YouTube and want to connect, my profile on YouTube is Voice of the Dragons. I'm Hytherion on Instagram and TikTok, and that's really all I'm on.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, brother. And again, for everybody out there, he is offering Kundalini Activation services as well as selling his crystal collection. So if you want to contact him for the crystals or for an activation session, you're always more than welcomed. And as you guys know, you guys can contact me if you have any questions at all or you'd like any of my services. And also, if you want to be a royal guest here on Rising with Ra, just direct message myself, Christolight, and we can go through the motions to see if it aligns for you to be a guest here on Rising with Ra. And I will be joining you guys next Friday, coming up in 2 days, for the next edition of Rising with Ra at 11:11 a.m. Eastern Time, as we will be diving into the sacral chakra. All right, so thank you everybody that has participated here in the Instagram Live. Thank you all for receiving. Thank you all for sharing yourself. And thank you all that will be tapping in on the YouTube or the replay here on Instagram. This will be in full later today on Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, the YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, once again, just reach out to either one of us. And I'm sure we will give you the best answer we can to where we are. Brother, thank you for hopping on. Thank you for being our royal guest to kick off season 4 of Rising with Ra. Have a blessed, beautiful, and balanced day.
You too.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Wholeness, balance, love, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for tuning in.
Hello, it is Yuuga the Draconic High Priest, and I wanted to share a little bit about my water system and my water documentation with my research around structured water. My water system, Magnaviolet Clear Radionics. It utilizes the use of the conductivity of shungite with neodymium magnets, and those two together create radionics, aka electromagnetic energy. So when you add these components together and you work with water, this is what you see inside your water.
This is a hardcore stage 3 radionics water. As you see, there are multiple mirrors, and one giant sheet of mirror goes across the whole cup. I haven't seen that too many times.
So what makes Magnaviolet so special is the fact that I'm utilizing the use of raw crystals and magnets to create the results that I'm creating.